Welcome to Java. It is March 27th, 2025. It is also Thursday. We've got a lot to cover today. Last night I did have our Discord discussion. My apologies, but YouTube will not allow me to post a link there for some reason. Every time I do, they take it out. So just ask me and I'll do my best to get you that link so that you can join us. I'd like to put a special shout out to a couple of people, in particular, Doug, coming in from Doug and Stacey's Homesteading. I'll try and leave a link to one of their videos below. But we had a wonderful contributions from him, as well as the gentleman from Pico's Trading Desk, who I'll be speaking with later. So with this, let's get into what's going on this morning, because there's quite a bit. So starting with the fear greed meter, it's the same as yesterday at 29. We've got a little bit of a leveling out with the retailers, and I'm going to talk a little bit about liquidity holds in just a bit. However, we're at level 29, still deep in fear, but people haven't really caught on to what's going on so far, and they are providing the liquidity for the larger sectors to kind of move out the big money, if you will. We've got the 10-year yield going up a bit, 4.4 right now. We also discussed this tonight. It's not so much the level, the number, but the rate at which it increases, but it is going up on the big headline, which is United States trading partners warning of retaliation to the 25% car tariffs that are going to be rolling out. Was announced last night that they'll be toughening up a bit on that. So with that relative strength of the dollar at 104.5, so actually it's gained against the other trading currencies at the moment. So with this will pressure the market as these two rise. We've got cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin just below 8,000, but above the 85 still. So I believe it's still going to head up again towards the 89 resistance. We'll see what happens from here. So stocks, I believe they're going to open soft. Looks that way right now. We've got the volatility index is increasing, fear coming in, if you will. Gold staying above the 3,000 mark. It is hitting a bit of resistance, but also not dropping below that 3,000. That is a tell on its own, and another major indicator that I am now watching. So with the futures, they're saying that it could ease up a bit. We'll see what happens as the day goes on. We are in a market where the daily driver is uncertainty. As I said, watching the 10-year as always for those spikes, but also watching gold volatility index as well as the volume coming into these, because the volume is going to tell you when that major reaction is going to move. So pre-market, we're getting jobless claims. We've also got that announcement for the 25% on autos with some exceptions. So that's giving a little bit of leeway here. So the market is weak at the moment on this, what they're calling fresh volatility. I don't know what fresh volatility is. It's volatile or it's not. Again, so this is the leading headline for this morning, is that the Dow, S&P, and the NASDAQ all having troubles because of what was announced this morning. NVIDIA shares are weak, so they're dragging down the NASDAQ. And we've got GM, Ford, and Stellantis. This actually didn't cover it, but dropping on these tariffs. Now, you would say these are American automobiles, but they're going to suffer from this as well, not just because of the parts, but multiple other factors in this. So they all dropped. We've got some major scams going on here. We'll talk about that in a moment. But the calendar for this morning, we are watching the initial jobless claims prior to the market open in, actually not too long, probably from the time I let this out. So it could be larger moves in the market, depending on how that comes out, as well as revised GDPs. These are larger reports. Pending home sales at 10 a.m. And then, of course, always got to have our Fed president speaking. Now, a word on that briefly is that Kashkari spoke yesterday and also talking about how these markets could suffer some severe drop. They're not out of the woods, and the Fed could be moved to do another rate cut the next time that they meet. We'll see how that goes going forward. So tomorrow, these are all happening pre-market. And then after that, just Fed speakers. So really, you have to kind of factor these in as well prior to your close. Personal income and spending, both of these in trouble. We know this. And now it's expanding to not just lower income, but also to the upper. So we've got the PCE index. These are the Fed's favored inflation gauge. So these prior to market open tomorrow could cause some shock. Now, want to speak about this briefly because this particular article was about cryptocurrencies, but it doesn't matter what the asset is, it applies, meaning stocks are much more susceptible to this. And they're talking about exit liquidity traps, how to detect them before it's too late, and understanding when you can see these early, whether your investments will fall prey to market manipulation. We know the markets are manipulated, and these are akin to the saying of the doors slamming shut. I've been speaking about this and cannot warn enough that as the markets are opening, the retailers are buying in, is what the statistics are showing. And the big money hedge funds, insurance companies are using this liquidity to sell the shares, let the retailers build it back up and sell into them again. Now, showing how deep this scam is this article that came out about liquidity also, unrelated in another area, but similar to understanding what is going on in the underlying, saying the Fed can protect the treasury market by shorting it. So they're taking their own, and even Greg has been talking about this as well. Central bank researchers are making the case that the Federal Reserve could support the treasury market from disruptions by hedging its asset purchases. This is showing a drop in faith in their own product, the United States dollar, as well as the debt behind it. So if they are doing this, but they're forcing the people into the system, it's an absolutely sick mechanism of massive distortion for these markets. So just want to put this forward that these are the types of things that they set up for themselves in order to protect themselves and lay everyone else bare. So I want to go a little bit more into this one, not what it seems. Okay, first off, it's talking about Bitcoin mining stocks, but the larger story is always behind it. Microsoft centers, data centers, the plans for them getting scrapped. They have decided to move out of them. Now, the important part is they are cutting plans to invest in data centers in the United States and Europe, citing potential oversupply. Now, not coincidentally, as they jump out and leave this gap, and it doesn't say in here, but who is stepping in to purchase these in the back end is, of course, OpenAI. So ChatGPT owners, OpenAI, who Microsoft has had a relationship with in the past, used their name to start all of these with the data center. And as they jump out of the agreements that they have made, so that they will sell cheaper in essence and allow OpenAI to come in for less when OpenAI had signed for, as of late, massive funding. And prior to having the massive funding, they have now signed into a lot of these data centers. Now, tell me if you don't think that's corrupt. So, shifting a little bit more into a different company, similar situations, we've got Palantir cutting their IT team by 60%, talking about abolishing the IT organization to drive agility and innovation. Now, they are cutting their employee staff, the IT organization, from 200 employees to fewer than 80 full-time staff. Now, this is going to get deeper in a moment, but this dramatic reduction they are seeing will maintain operational efficiency. How are they going to do this? Well, what they're going to do is remove the human uh, impact on this. They're going to have artificial intelligence basically driving this. They're going to integrate the IT capabilities directly into business units. So, what exactly does that mean? These are autonomous properties, and I've warned about this company before. This is basically the birth of Skynet. So, as they're having artificial intelligence drive these, and they were very careful about the way that they have released this information, but that is what's coming now. Palantir is a major software that is used by the military to drive program the drones and so forth. Now, they're in a lot of independent companies as well, but watch their drivers and their business models. If you don't believe me, look into this. You'll have your eyes opened. Now, as all of this is happening, we've got, as I like to say, the real economy and what is actually going on. We are being driven towards the central bank digital currency and the new system that I've been speaking about. So, Walmart coming out, Doug McMillan saying the customers are exhibiting what he is calling stressed behaviors, and it's already tanked the company valuation. But the critical part is his quote saying, "You can see the money is running out before the month is gone." And you can tell this because people are buying smaller pack sizes toward the end of the month, spending dropping. This is showing severe stress. And now it has expanded to not just lower incomes, but middle and upper middle incomes as well. And they track their numbers very carefully. We've got on the other side, spoke about restaurant chains, but we've got another one now. Buca de Beppo filing for Chapter 11. Had Red Lobster happen back last May, closing 120 restaurants. This one, they're closing multiple more restaurants. We have more bankruptcies coming in. Popular breakfast dining chain, national car wash chain, and a troubled trucking company. These are all just examples of what is happening with these small to medium-sized businesses all being bankrupted, merged, acquired, going out of businesses, crushing the middle class. And it's not just those, but Block, which is also Square, cutting 8% of their staff, and Western Union now also leaning into artificial intelligence in order to cut their stuff. So they're all using that language of leaning down and efficiency. So all of this leading toward the central bank digital currency new system, as this will be needed to carry people forward. Going to need universal basic income. They will call it something else. And at the very bottom of all of this, they're going to keep everyone distracted and also utilize this for funding through debt methods. And that is, of course, war. Now, Tesla and other United States robotics giants, including Boston Dynamics, urging federal government to implement national robotics strategy, saying that without this, America risks falling behind China. Now, China has been a dominant robotics maker. They're also dominant with drones. So a drone race is a losing race with this particular country. And all you have to do is look at the track record. Their strength has always been in numbers. This is also something we spoke about last night. Someone else brought up their strength in massive amounts of numbers, inexpensively produced, and the United States cannot compete with that at this time. Now, telling, and these always seem like they're unrelated until you really look at them. Trading at Shanghai Gold Exchange risen sharply in recent days, and it is linked to Chinese insurance companies recently commencing to buy gold. Now, the insurance companies are underliers also for the banking system, so this is also massive bolstering to the QA that they've been doing and going to kind of prop up their economy again short term. Now, shifting to BlackRock again, expanding their digital asset team, This goes back to the other one with Palantir. They've added 4 high-level roles, and they're going to be doing oversight as well as legal. And when they expand these, they're talking about with the cryptocurrencies, and we all know where this is leading. Blackrock, one of the largest companies in the background with all of this going on. So got to move on with this, and just want to say early this morning there were sirens following projectile launches from Yemen. They're going to continue this. So peace talks breaking down, and some other very volatile things going on in the geopolitical scene that it's going to be easy to point to for the reasons for them doing what they are already planning on doing. So with this, I wish you all a green trading day, wonderful day in general. Thank you for joining me, and until I see you again, stay free.